Should you play Orks in Warhammer 40k 11th edition? Orks look like one of the easiest armies in Warhammer to fall in love with. Big mobs, scrap weapons, weird characters, giant guns bolted on top of other giant guns. It all looks like a good time, and honestly, that's exactly why so many people get pulled in to the Ork bandwagon. But starting Orks can get messy real fast if you ain't paying attention. You grab boys because, sure, Orks, they're the boys. Then you get a Death Dread, catches your eye. Then some bikes, then a Battlewagon, then the Beast Snaggas. Stuff starts calling your name, and suddenly you're not building an Ork army anymore. You're starting 4 different armies with no plan. For the rule of cool, that's fine. Buy what you love. That's the biggest part of this hobby. But if you want a list that actually plays well on the table, you need to take a step back and figure out what direction your Orks are going. So this isn't going to be like a tournament list or anything, and it's not a full rules breakdown of the Orks. Think of it as a beginner's guide. How to start Orks without getting lost in their huge range of models. Just remember, whenever you watch videos like this, the points and rules and detachments change over time. So always check the MFM and the Warhammer app before buying anything to make sure the points and detachments are still in line. The goal isn't a list that stays perfect forever in this. It's understanding what Orks want to do, so you can start them with a plan instead of just buying a ton of boxes. So, what are the Orks? At the core, Orks want to fight. They want to get up the board, take space, hit things hard, and force your opponent to deal with more threats than they can handle. But the army can go a lot of different directions from here. You got your big mobs boys if you want to flood the table. You got Nobz, Mega Nobz, and war bosses if you want a harder hitting melee army. Then we got the Trukks, the Battlewagons, the bikes, the buggies, and walkers. Then some beast Snaggas and squids if you want something more a little savage hunting party. There's no single clean starting point that covers every version of the army, which is exactly why it gets a little confusing whenever you're starting Orks. Before you buy anything, it helps to know which kind of Ork army actually sounds fun to you. A big part of the appeal is hobby freedom. Rust looks cool. Chipped paint looks awesome. Mismatched panels don't ruin any Orks. They make it look more Orky. If your painting is a little rough, this army forgives you. That's why I enjoy Orks. Try weird skin tones, pile on weathering, raid the bits box. It all still fits the Orks because that's the Orks' personality. Orks are one of the best kit bashing armies in the game. Swapping parts, adding more panels, building something out of old leftover pieces. It's all completely on brand with the Orks. And the models have personality. Plenty of armies look serious all the time in this game. Orks can be just as dangerous on the table, but never leave themselves that serious. Just one warning, hobby freedom doesn't mean every purchase makes your army play better. You still need units to do actual jobs in the game. How Orks play on the table. Orks want to apply pressure, moving up, taking space, threatening charges, forcing your opponent into bad decisions before they're ready. But that's not run forward and hope. Play it that way against a decent opponent, and they'll pick your army apart before anything does anything good. Orks still need mission pieces, something that scores something fast. Transports for units they can't afford to cross the board on foot. And damage matters because the whole game of Gretchin sitting on the back objective isn't really exciting, but it's doing real work. Storm Boys reach spots your slower units can't. Commandos let you contest the board early. Trukks get your boys and knobs where they need to be faster. That's the mindset of the Orks. Orks are aggressive, but aggression needs a purpose. You're not just throwing models forward, you're forcing bad choices while still scoring points. Let's talk about one of the coolest things the Orks offer. The Waaagh is the thing everyone knows about the Orks. For a beginner, think of it as a big push turn. The moment your key units are close enough to matter, your charges are lined up just right, and your opponent looks at the board and realizes they can't deal with everything at once. You called it at the right time. It feels amazing. Your melee hits hard. You take the middle and the game swings in your favor. Called it too early, it's a disaster. Units aren't close enough, charges are too early and risky, your opponent still has too many guns pointed at you, and your big moment turns into one terrible trait. So the lesson is timing. Set up the turn before you commit, move the trucks around, hide what needs protecting, get your units in range so the Waaagh actually does something when it lands. So let's talk a little bit about detachments now, because they all got different playstyles. Detachments push your army toward different build paths, so it helps you know the lineup. You got your war horde, the classic orc feel. Get up the board, fight hard, trade units, keep the pressure on. The easiest starting point to wrap your head around whenever you start in orcs. Then we got the green tide for players who want lots and lots of boys all over the board. Looks great on the table, but be honest with yourself about how many models you're willing to build and paint and move every turn. Moving that many bodies, it can be time consuming. Then we got the Bully Boyz, elite melee, noobs, mega noobs, war bosses. If you like the idea of bosses leading a hard hitting unit straight into the enemy's best stuff, I would start with this detachment. Then you got the Dread Mob, mechs and walkers, killer clans, depth dreads, scrap machines. Strong hobby theme in this one, but it narrows your focus to one direction. Then you got the Cult of Speed, the Speed Waaagh. Bikes, buggies, fast vehicles. Looks incredibly cool. It moves fast. But I wouldn't call it the safest first army, unless speed is the whole reason you're looking at orcs. Then you got the Big Hunt, beast snaggas, squigs, and hunting bigger targets. Good if the aesthetic grabs you, but it commits one slice of this range. Then you got the Rolling Death, newer to 11th edition, leans into Battlewagon pressure. Then Tactical Brigade, more about tools and mission play. More DACA, the shooting side. More guns, more dice, more shooting. The real question is that which detachment is best? It's more of a what kind of orc army do you actually want to build, because they all go different ways on looks and playstyle. Answer that first, and the buying decision goes a lot smoother for you. You have your starting point and you have your end goal. So let's talk about some good starting units. I'd build towards a flexible core rather than a specific detachment right away. A war boss or similar character gives the army a leader that makes one melee unit noticeably stronger for you. The big boss is a smaller, cheaper leader that fills a similar role if you want to start lighter. And then you got to have some boys, the basic orc unit, and the one that teaches you the most about how the army moves, fights, and trades pieces. You got the noobs, hit harder than the boys, and give you a unit that can actually threaten something important. You got your banner knob now, a dedicated banner carrier. He's cheap, thematic, and directly supports your big push turn. Now, the Gretchin. Not exciting at all, but cheap and useful for holding home objectives and screening the enemy pushes. You gotta get a truck. Orcs need help crossing the board, and a transport makes your melee threats far easier to deliver. Throw in some Storm Boys for the speed and reach for scoring pressure. Commandos definitely help with board presence before the main fight starts. Once that core is in place, pick a direction piece. Your Mega Knob for the tougher melee, a Battlewagon for bigger transport play, Squig Boys for the Beast Snagger route, Death Dreads, Killer Clans, or the new Big Mech Deckering for walkers. You got your War Bikes or War Track for speed, Ludas or Flash Gits for when you actually want to shoot things. Don't buy all those things at once. Each one pulls the army into a different direction. Pick one that matches the army you actually want to play. Now, the rule of cool still counts here. If you love a model, that's a reason to buy it. This hobby isn't only about efficiency, but for a first army, don't grab every cool model kit at once. If vehicles are your thing, fine. Just don't actually buy a half speed army and a half walker army before you know what you enjoy doing. If Green Tide sounds fun,
Make sure you actually want to build and paint that many boys because it's a table full. What I'd avoid is buying into Speed Waaagh, the Dread Mob, Green Tide, Beast Snaggas, and Battlewagons all at the same time. None of those are bad choices. The problem is mixing too many ideas too early makes the army feel scattered instead of focused. Start with your main direction, build a core you can actually play games with, and then add the flashy stuff once everything's got a job and you see what's really missing out of your army. Orks land somewhere between medium and expensive. Starting isn't too bad, but getting to 2,000 points adds up pretty fast. The boys, Gretchin, noobs, transportations, characters, vehicles, and support all stack up pretty fast. Now, kit bashing helps a lot here, and orcs are one of the best armies for kit bashing. Just be careful if you plan to play at events. The models still need to be readable. Base size, rough silhouette, and weapon clarity really matters when you get to some of these tournaments. Local game stores, probably not so much, long as you explain what the model is supposed to be if it's not looking quite like the model is. My honest rating, cost to start is medium. Cost to finish 2,000 point is medium to high, depending on the build path you take. A lean elite army feels very different wallet-wise from a Green Tide or a Walker heavy list. Orcs are generally pretty forgiving to paint though. Rough metal, grime rust, mismatched armor colors, they all work for the orcs, don't matter what detachment you go. It all fits aesthetically. The skin gives you room to experiment. One orc can run darker green and another lighter. And the army still reads pretty evenly. The catch is the workload though. Workload. A few orcs are fun. A full horde is a huge project. And the vehicles take longer than they look. Start on a battle wagon, suddenly you're painting armor plates, wheels, exhaust, crews, glyphs, and a dozen scraps. Details you didn't notice on the box art. Are they forgiving? Definitely, but not always. If I were bidding my first orc army at 1,000 points, I wouldn't start with the most extreme version of the army. I'd start with the core that teaches you the faction. A boss style leader, your boys for basic fighting units, Nubs for that harder punch, and then Gretchin for cheap mission works. Maybe a Trukk, because orcs need a way to move up the board fast. Pick up Storm Boys for speed and reach, or Commandos for early board pressure and mission flexibility if you want. Then add one centerpiece, your Meganauts for the tough melee, a battle wagon, or some walkers. That gets you to 1,000 points without trapping you into one identity too early. Now, growing from 1,000 to 2,000, you start filling in actual gaps. Maybe some more anti-tank, another transportation, some more scoring. The biggest mistake is buying by cool models alone and never thinking about the army job. It's an easy trap with orcs because so much of the rain looks incredibly fun. So, before you add another box, ask, who holds the home objective? Who moves fast? Who hits hard? Who handles the tough opponents? And who protects the unit you actually need to reach combat? If you can't answer those, the army might look great on the shelf and still feel pretty rough on the table. Now, with all this being said, orcs are a great starting army, but orcs are not for everyone. If you hate painting a lot of models, be careful. Some builds turn into a serious project if you want a tiny elite army with a handful of models. This probably is not that list. If you need clean, precision, controlled gameplay every turn, orcs might feel too chaotic for you. And if goofy models bother you, the range may just not click. This is a faction built around loud guns, scrap metal, big teeth, and stranger ideas. I'd also be cautious if you need every purchase to stay optimal forever. Points move, detachments get adjusted, units rise and fall. That's not a reason to skip orcs. It just means you should like the army more than a perfect list. So, should you play orcs in 11th edition? Yes, if you want personality, pressure, and a ton of hobby freedom. Aggressive play, creative model, rough paint schemes. Just don't start randomly. Get a leader, some boys, a hard hitter, cheap scoring, and a way to move up the board. Then figure out what kind of orc player you're going. You're going to lean heavy in greed tie, Bully Boyz, walkers, wagons. You want some bikes, or you want beast Snaggas, or do you need that more of a daka? Any of it works, as long as you build with a purpose. Orks can be one of the most characterful armies in 40k. Just give the army a plan before spending gets out of hand. If you like this one, subscribe. New videos drop every Friday. And drop a comment and tell me which orc style you went with. And always, leave a like to support the Blood God, or at least this mediocre channel. Now, there may be affiliate links in the description for hobby stuff. It's a nice little discount for you. A little support for the channel. You don't have to use mine, but use someone's because this hobby is expensive enough. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.